Scrivener and record keeper of the Garlean Archives. Today, we will be presenting an essay on the subject of Nael van Darnus of the VIIth Legion. Nael van Darnus, or rather should I say her actual name, Eula Darnus, the eldest sister of House Darnus, born in 1534. The heir to her family secrets and, according to records, secrets of the fallen Alagan Empire. It was her wanton dream to become a Carrigan, like any Garlean woman of her family status and house. It is alleged that she and her elder brother, Nael Darnus, were relatively close. They had a healthy sibling relationship, and she looked up to him as a role model. But regardless of how exactly she viewed him, she held him in high regard and followed him into the Imperial Army. However, an ill-fated mission had resulted in the mortal wounding of Nael Darnus. What was the exact description of the wound? It is unknown other than its severity. How long till Nael eventually succumbed to his wounds? No time frame had been recorded, but it was a duration which allowed attempts of treatment from his sister, Eula, which were futile attempts. His death exacted a heavy toll on Eula's psyche, and began her mental degradation. As time persisted after the death of Nael Darnus, Eula's mental degradation continued into a rapid decline. There have been allegations and rumors that Eula assassinated her father, but no evidence has been brought forth to back up this claim, only a link of cause and effect. The mission responsible for Nael's mortal wound had been ordered by the father. Records state that her father died of natural causes, a disease. Assumedly, with the untimely death of her father, this would have further worsened her mental decline. However, it is not stated when this mental degradation reached the point where Eula took up the name and identity of her deceased brother, Nael. It was clear to the Medici that she was suffering from mental illness, a disassociation of identity. But by the time any form of diagnosis could be given, Nael had risen across the ranks, achieving the status of Imperial legatus. And upon her stature as Nael van Darnus, she expunged all remnants of her father's command, including his officers and guards, via public execution. By this point, Eula was no more than a fragment, and Nael van Darnus had completely taken over. I can understand why no one who noticed or identified the severity of her decline never spoke up. After the public execution of her father's officers and guards, word and rumor had spread across Garlemald that Eula/Nael was responsible for the death of her father. Allegations that ranged from committing patricide to gain control of the Darnus family or simply to avenge her brother's death. Regardless of the allegations, the very idea of patricide or matricide is frowned upon in Garlean society, especially among the elite. However, due to the rank and family status, Nael van Darnus could not be tried in any court. The brutal and infamous reputation of Nael van Darnus had attracted the attention of his Radiance, Solus Solsgalvus. His Radiance saw potential in him, someone who will let nothing stand in their way and by any means to achieve desired results. A decade before the Eorzean campaign in 1562, Nael van Darnus had begun efforts to decipher her family's secrets in hopes to solve the dilemma of subjugating would-be rivals and nations that stand in the path of Garlemald. It was then when His Radiance, Emperor Solus Solsgalvus, decreed that the Icon threat shall not be suffered anymore, thus changing the military campaigns into that of a crusade against false gods. Seizing the opportunity, Nael van Darnus approached her liege and pitched forth the proposed idea of using the secrets of House Darnus and her artifacts to rid the world of the Icon threat, to succeed where others had failed. After gaining approval from her liege and His Radiance, Emperor Solus Solsgalvus, Nael van Darnus donated the Alagan artifacts to the Imperial Court, to the Empire's principal engineer and Grand Minister of Industry, Midas nan Garlemald. It was through the study of these Alagan artifacts donated by House Darnus that Midas nan Garlemald uncovered revelations of the fallen Alagan Empire, their battle with the Icon threat, and how they were able to overcome them. However, Details on how they fought and overcame the icons were missing from the records, perhaps damaged or expunged from the artifacts. Midas Nangarlon continued his investigations into the artifacts, uncovering the truth behind the lesser moon, Dalamud. It is not a celestial body, but an artificial satellite manufactured by the fallen Alagan Empire with a great body of untapped energy inside it. Perhaps this was his lead to uncovering the methodology that the ancient Alags employed to overcome the icons. But it was Midas Nangarlon who proposed the idea of using Dalamud's untapped energy to weaponize the artificial moon. If it can be brought down upon Eorzea, it can serve as the Empire's own meteor. Thus, the project was named and penned Project Meteor, brought before the Imperial Courts with resounding approval at the idea of bearing a weapon of insurmountable power. It was only days after the approval of Project Meteor the first experiment to communicate the artificial moon Dalamud took place, in the Garlean city of Boscha, where a transmission tower had been erected to facilitate the experiment. When the experiment took place, it confirmed the suspicions of the vast power that lay within the moon, but at a disastrous price. The entire city of Boscha had been vaporized from a single feedback response from Dalamud, a beam consisting of at least 5 millennia's worth of energy shot directly at the transmission tower in Boscha. There were immeasurable casualties, civilian, researchers, and military garrison. The casualties include Midas Nangarlon, a tragic loss for the people of Garlemald and the Imperial Courts, all Alagan records stored within the city, and the lunar transmitter itself. Any attempts to cover up this incident by the Imperial censors was met with failure, and all knew this event as the Boscha incident. The losses incurred at the Boscha incident reached the ears of the Imperial Court. Thusly, His Radiance, Emperor Solsgalvis, decreed his disinterest in the project, since he had no use for such power of unpredictable nature, and for the project to be dismantled immediately. Nael van Darnus made attempts and pleas to keep the project alive, insisting that the power of Dalamud can be controlled, but her pleas were met with deaf ears. It was until after the Battle of Silverterra Lake in 1562 and the loss of the Agriers under the command of Gaius van Baelsar of the 14th Legion did Nael van Darnus return to the Imperial Courts, announcing that there was a way to control the power of Dalamud. And His Radiance Emperor Solus Galvis, whom was impatient with the stalemate in Eorzea, entertained the notion of reviving Project Meteor to cleanse Eorzea of beastmen and their icons. Thusly, the second phase of Project Meteor commenced. And that concludes today's archival review. Forgive me for the slow show of pictures to accompany the essay. It seems we still have to properly tune the Project Archives. If only Midas Nangarlon was still around. But we shall do what we can for our homeland. I am Jennarong Moses, scrivener and record keeper of the Garlean Archives. Next time, we will address the rest of the entry on Nael van Darnus, legatus of the 7th Legion. But an external note to add to the essay. The effects of Nael van Darnus' actions still resonate to this day across Heidelin herself and the Empire. Ever since Cartano, the world has never been the same, for better or for worse.